Hey everybody, Fishman here. Welcome to another video. This is Fishman Vlog number 107, and I apologize for that fan noise in the background, but we finally have our first heat wave at the end of June of all things. So I need that to keep me from melting, and that first clip you saw there were the adults for these guys. So they were the leopard danios I put in here, and as you can see, the fry have started to hatch out. And I think, I'm not sure, I'll have to go back and check my other footage for the zebra danios, but I think these guys are smaller. Again, that just might be my perspective on it. But they're doing well. This is, I think, the very next day after taking them out. The adults, that is. And as you can see, there's a fair number of little fry in here. I'm hoping as the days go by, because I left them in here for 3.5-ish days, and there should be a lot more. Well, we'll see as they hatch out, I guess. I like the leaf sitting there. It does give a nice contrast, so I get to see the babies, so that's kind of cool. Now the other news in the fry area is I've switched over, as you saw there, to using Java moss for the gardener eye, and I'm going to show you a few more fry that I've gotten from them. And that used to be the Daphne tank, and now you see I've got some plants in there, and it's all nice and clean, and I'm going to move some fish into here. I'm not sure what yet, but we'll see how this progresses. So this is the new breeder box I put together, and there is at least a half a dozen fry in here now, varying sizes. That one you just saw there is one of the larger ones, and I like how the box is working, and fortunately the fry don't seem to be eating each other, which is nice. And unfortunately, with the Java moss in here, it's almost impossible to find them. But that's alright. I know they're in there. I've seen at least 6. And these guys are growing up nicely now that they have their own aquarium. They are eating well, they're not competing too much, which is nice. And because I didn't really see any fry the first time when I did this, I'm going to pan from right to left here, because I want to show you some of the smaller ones. And I think when I was about to start filming this, I noticed, there it is, right there on the, oh, just went out of the screen. There was one smaller fry showing up, which is nice. So one of the things I've noticed is because I'm breeding so many fish now, it's putting a bit of a strain on all my live cultures. So I decided to play it safe, and I picked up some brine shrimp eggs, and I've started hatching those as well, just to make sure that I don't run out of food for everyone. Because as you see, I have an awful lot of fry going right now. These are the zebra danios, obviously a lot bigger than when they started, and I'm very happy with them. And if you remember, these two tanks are set up, one as a box filter going to high humidity, one is an underground filter going to high humidity. I was originally planning on reversing the content, but it doesn't really matter. So I'm going to let these run, and we'll see how these filters compare maintenance-wise and everything else long-term. So this is the watercress I picked up. I let it go in the original, I haven't even removed the elastic, just put it in water, and I think I showed you last week the roots are beginning to grow, so I figured I better have another look at it. And I realized that I left it go a little too long. It's quite ripe, and what I'm going to do now is try and get the elastic off for starters, and then I'm going to snip off all the dead leaves, and wherever there's a joint in a leaf and it's the last one, that will start sending out roots, but everything below that just rots, so I have to snip all that stuff off as well. And you can see the water is less than pleasant, so I had to dump all that out. I got 2 new containers, and I'm going to go through one by one, check for roots, snip off anything that's not alive, and get this prepped for 2 things. First off, I got to take all the ones that are doing well, like that one has good roots and is growing well. I'm going to put that in one of my planters that I had. You remember the ones that hung on the side of the aquarium? You'll see a clip of it here in a little bit. I'm going to put the ones that are well rooted into those, and then I'm going to put the ones that haven't quite rooted yet into one of the bubblers. So I want to get these to grow a little bit better. I want them to start setting up more roots. And then the next thing I need to do is start getting these ready for the aquaponics setup. I haven't forgotten about that. I've just been sidetracked by some other projects, but I now have the bracket is well, I think it's completely sealed. I don't think I can get it any more sealed anyway. And I'm ready to attach that. So that'll be a video next week. And what I'm going to do is, some of these are going to go in here, into that, and some are going to go in, not like this. I'm going to keep this here for a little while. And then what I'm going to do is put them into one of the planters, like in the back, where they're getting continually watered. And we'll see how it works out. So this is the fern that's actually starting to finally take off really well. It's got a bunch of new leaves. I think 2 of the cuttings are doing exceptionally well. And we'll see how they all turn out in the end. Now you see the spawning mops up here, just in case there's some eggs left in there. And you'll notice there's an awful lot less guppies in here. And that's because I've been moving a lot of them out into clients' aquariums. And so I need to sort what's left out there, and then definitely set this up for raising more fry. My lemon geranium is doing really nicely, and again, I still have things I need to do with it. And this batch of Java moss is the one I swapped out with the one that's in the gardener tank, and I'm just going to go back and forth and pulling fry out. So there's at least 2 in here at the moment, and I'm going to let that stay in there for another week, and then we'll see if I get much more out of it. So there you go. This is the one that's not thriving. I'm going to leave it in here. Hopefully it'll send out more roots. But that other pot's more than enough. I only need about 2 or 3 of these to get started. And then, of course, it'll just gradually grow. So we'll see in time. As you know, I have been complaining rather every week now that this Java moss ball is getting too big. So I need to finally prune it. I want to also check on my shrimp population because it's kind of hard with all that Java moss in there. So I am going to siphon out all the mulments underneath it, because Java moss tends to do that quite well. I fast forwarded through this because, well, this is most of the view you're going to get is the back of my head, and I'm not siphoning this into like down the drain or anything. This is going into a bucket, or one of those bins I should say, and that will settle out. I'll show you a couple clips of it, and then I'll make sure I place any shrimp or fish or anything that gets sucked up that way, because I was not being that careful, and because I'm not entirely sure what's underneath these balls of Java moss, I want to make sure I'm not removing any possible of the red crystal shrimplets. So I want to make sure that nothing goes down the drain that is not just mulm. So this is much smaller now. Obviously it's going to take a little while for that to settle out, but this is much better. Once this is settled out, I'll do another little bit of bottom vacuum. And I did check on the shrimp, and they're doing fine. I didn't notice any of them buried up, but that's not horribly surprising because they don't really stay buried up that long. So we will see how this goes. I think I'm going to need to set them up in their own aquarium to give them, more of a chance that their babies aren't being just predated on by all the guppies that are in there. So this is what that bin looked like initially, and then I'm going to let it settle out, and you can see that it's much clearer now. And I'm going to poke around in this over the next couple of days and make sure there isn't anything important in there, mostly just the shrimplets, because the guppy fry that I pulled out by accident were easy to catch and put back in the tank. I'm very happy with this filter. It's not a surprise at all, other than, of course, the Java fern doing well. I suppose that's not really a surprise either. It is a very good filter. I do recommend this style for someone who likes to have a little bit of plants above the aquarium, and of course a very good filtration system. I wanted to show a clip of this today because remember I had to clean it last week, and it is not filling up with gunk right away. It's not going to be something I'm going to have to clean often. It was just the original mulm that got stirred up when I was setting the whole thing up in the first place. So this is the pond. Thanks to the heat wave, which I mentioned at the beginning, the water is actually now warm enough. So I'm going to put a poll up in the next few days, and I'm going to ask you guys what you would like to see me put in here, and I'm going to give you the options for the fish that I have. So definitely feel free to weigh in on that, and I'll definitely get that into it as soon as I get a clear one way or another, or I'll just pick one myself. As far as the plants go, the Red Luigia is doing really well. Everything else seems to be doing mediocre at best or dying. The Hornwort's almost all dead. The Java Fern is mostly dead. This is actually doing okay. And the Java Moss is also alright. So, anyway, leave comments, let me know what you think about everything, and I will see you in the next video, and bye for now.